Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we're going to be talking about D.Va. With so many impactful changes coming to the PTR, including the armor nerf and Reaper buffs, both of which we've covered in previous videos, not a fantastic amount of attention has been paid to the changes that D.Va received. Her defense matrix now has an increased cooldown in between uses, and this is really key for a number of crucial interactions for her. With the patch seemingly being the devs' attempt to rein in the power of triple tank, triple support or GOATs, which D.Va was a key part of, we're going to discuss if the changes to defense matrix will impact her enough to change her almost ubiquitous pick rate at the pro level and beyond. So the first real tangible impact of having her DM cooldown double to 2 seconds is that in general, not just in 3-3 comps, a lot more damage to her mech will get through than it did before. On screen, we're going to have examples of D.Va versus Tracer, which is really good at showing this because Tracer shoots her clip in 1 second and then has a reload time of 1.15 seconds, meaning against old defense matrix, it could be quite easy for D.Va to eat a lot of her damage by tapping her defense matrix and catching Tracer's bursts. It was very possible to delete all of the incoming fire from a Tracer chasing your support for 3 full clips before you ran out of matrix. Now that she has effectively more recovery and bigger gaps in her self-protection, it's now possible for Tracer to bait the defense matrix and then shoot virtually a whole clip into her after she stops to punish her, or any support she might be trying to protect. As the D.Va, it's very easy to desync from this new rhythm, making for massive gaps in defense matrix's coverage. That is a big deal, and with adjustment on how to play against DM, certainly feels like an indirect buff to a character like Tracer, because let's not forget, this change is not happening in isolation. Between this, the Brig nerfs, and Tracer's improved performance against armor when hitting headshots, we think you can expect Tracer to have a jump in power level next patch, with some even predicting that 3 DPS comps will prove too strong for this nerfed version of D.Va. The reason being, if you're a skilled enough lineup, the gaps for you to exploit with your multi-angle offense have rarely been larger, and you might start to outdamage your opponent's sustain, perhaps even quite severely. But it doesn't stop here. Sometimes DMing now represents an opportunity for characters to directly counterplay you. Roadhog is a great example. Against Hog, you used to be able to possibly eat his follow-up shot on hook depending on the distance if you were already matrixing when he hooked you. If you were at Hook's max range, the 1 second cooldown on your DM could have elapsed by the time he went to shoot you. But now, your only option is to eat the second shot if he hooks you while you're using defense matrix, which means you're susceptible to an uncontested fat headshot into your mech, which as we know from the armor nerf video can be up to 225 damage instead of the previous 175. Not only does that hurt, but it means that most likely the armor part of your mech's health will be gone, and that spells trouble considering you're very likely to be in close proximity of Hog's team, especially when you consider all the other heroes that are also better against armor moving forward. Losing mech will be much easier, and as the D.Va, you will seriously have to adjust to this new timing of matrix to stay alive. So with the punish window now being much larger on Matrix, this also affects how D.Va can contest big value ultimates like Zarya's Graviton or Mei's Blizzard. A cool part of why D.Va is so popular at the pro level is her ability to contest these. With only 1 second in between DM bursts, it was much easier to eat these as the gap was so small, and depending on range, you could actually react to a Zarya Grav even if you just used it. Now that's not the case. Zarya can wait for you to use DM and know that once it goes down, she has a very easily exploitable window to grab you and your team. Pro D.Vas could use this rapid on-off activation of defense matrix to extend its use and cancel out a lot of offense. Now, when D.Va DMs in front of you, it represents a real opportunity for counterplay because you know this extended gap is coming afterwards. But it's not just Graviton, loads of ults can exploit this fully or partially even if you're still in mech. Reaper's crazy new Death Blossom could have 2 seconds of uncontested leverage, Pharah could sneak in at least a partial barrage, Soldier Sights could gain traction, and McCree's Deadeye could even work. A lot of ults will go from being very weak to actually viable if they pay attention to when you're using DM. However, this extra delay isn't just exploitable by ults, but also key cooldowns in mid-fights if your opponents read you correctly and wait you out. McCree's Flashbang, Anna's nade to heal herself and Sleep Dart, Ashe's TNT, they all have a much better chance of landing if played correctly, and that's not only bad news for you should you be dueling them, but also your team. One really has to reframe mentally what using Defense Matrix will mean in the future. No longer is it a simple, hey I can stop you doing what you want almost indefinitely button, now it also says to your opponents, as soon as this drops, I'm very exploitable and so is anyone I'm trying to protect. Let's just return for a moment to how the armor nerfs affects a character like D.Va, as these changes are all happening concurrently. We've talked about Hog and Tracer being more efficient at de-mech'ing you with headshots, but some heroes don't even need to hit those now to be doing way more damage to you than before. Soldier and Sombra both got improved significantly, but let's deal with Jack Morrison first. Soldier can bait your DM and almost completely de-mech you in the 2-second window whilst it's down, especially if he's shooting you right in the face, but perhaps most shockingly, Sombra is now a massive threat to you, even if you're not facing her. Sombra can spend a lot of time shooting you from an off angle while you're trying to zone something else out or dueling it. In her farmable range of max damage, she now absolutely shreds through your mech's health. With 60 ammo, she's not having to reload all the time like other characters do. She's going to put out huge sustained damage on you. If you compare the live server, where she hardly makes a dent, and the PTR, the difference should be really clear. When you consider Sombra has invis and hack as well, a D.Va who might be, say, trying to dive at a Pharah could get de-mech'd just by being shot, and that's even without being hacked in the first place. Now, I know that all of this sounds really bad, and D.Va is definitely more exploitable than she was before this combination of direct and indirect nerfs hit her. But here's the thing, if we're talking about whether she'll be much harder to play, well, the answer for sure is a big fat yes. A lot of average matchmaking divas are going to get caught out in some fairly major ways. But if we're talking about the pro level, then it's a bit more complicated. Yes, she will be more exploitable in the same ways, but at the very top, her near 100% pick rate isn't just a result of her being previously very strong. It's because she has no real competition for the utility that she brings to the table, both in terms of specific abilities and overall dexterity. She has incredible DPS dueling, and yes, other DPS are improved, so there could be an argument 3 DPS comps return, but hers is still great, especially for a tank. Her ability to contest ults is now more complex, but it still remains perfectly possible to do. She's highly mobile because she can fly, and despite its nerf, Defense Matrix is still able to eat infinite damage for up to 2 seconds. No other hero can do that, or the sum of what her kit represents. She is, and remains, somewhat irreplaceable. Plus, one of the reasons 3-3 comps are strong isn't because single abilities are so good in isolation, although some obviously are, but rather because you're not just trying to get around Defense Matrix against goats, you're trying to get through Ryan's shield, Zarya's bubbles, D.Va's DM, massive heals and Briggs armor, all in rotation. That's what makes it so hard to play against. D.Va will still get played despite being nerfed because there's simply no one else that brings to the table what she does. If you do play D.Va, you will have to adjust for sure, but she's still incredibly strong. Let us know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another video of ours again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in great company. And finally, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time,